Hey folks, what's siete? So I got a surprise package in the mail today from Lithics Casting Lab, and I thought we'd open it together. The turnaround was incredibly fast. I just sent the check off last week and it's already here, so that was incredibly fast. Not only for them to get it shipped out, but the post office for that matter. The check went priority mail. And nice little knife, huh? A little Kia Cook knife. I just made that. Sweet, huh? No, I really did just make that. I was making some bifaces. But let's see what's in here. You got some bubble wrap. Oh, I got a whole letter here. And I got some money back, apparently. Oh, I guess I overpaid. Anyhow, yeah. Let's see what's in here. Look at that right there. Good night. There's a Cumberland point. Beautiful. It comes with the different, look at that right there. Isn't that cool? So these are actual cast of actual points. So you can get an idea of what they look like, how they were made, and all that kind of stuff. The flaking patterns on them. Just nothing like having a real deal. And my friend Keith is the one that really got me going on this. There's a Clovis. I think I got a couple different Clovises. Yeah. This is from the Lamb site. Pretty cool. Pretty doggone cool. I already know I'm going to be ordering more. There's another Clovis. I ordered quite a few, so it might take a minute to go through all these. It's pretty thin up here at this end. Well, the whole thing's actually fairly thin. They didn't get much of a flute on this side at all. They got a little one there. Very nice. These are so cool, and they do such a good job of matching the color of it to the actual. Well, here's another Clovis point. I apparently ordered quite a few Clovises, at least 3. It's a little bitty dude. But, oh man, this thing is thin, thin, thin. I mean, that's pretty doggone thin. Not sure what the ratio would be on that, but pretty cool. It even looks dirty, like it just came out of the site, right? I mean, it looks like an actual artifact. Lighter than stone, though, I think. Here's another Cumberland point. Really want to learn to make Cumberlands. I don't know if I'll ever get it or not, but I really like to. Relatively straight. This flute went all the way to the tip, and that one almost did. It's amazing how this technology, I mean, it'd be something else to be able to see how that came about and talk to someone from then, I guess. Here's a late preform for Cumberland point. This one down here is one I'm really excited about. So that would be fluted on one side, The base isn't done. Not really a big, it's got a pretty good sized hump on here, but I guess if he was fluting this, he'd probably stop here or fan out, one or the other, on this flake here. But it's like a half finished one. And he probably looked at this and he probably went, well, this isn't gonna flute up there, so maybe I won't mess with it. I don't know what he was thinking, but pretty cool. Alright, this one here I was super excited about. This is a Holland point. I've been wanting to make one. I was actually waiting for this cast to come in to attempt it. That dude is thin. I mean, that joker is thin. I don't know if they were all that thin, but pretty doggone thin. It has a description here. It talks about all the... I really like this base. You see a lot of Holland points and they're not quite like this, so it's like a hardened meta Dalton, I guess. If a Dalton and a Harden had a baby, this is what it looked like. But that is pretty doggone cool right there. The napper that made this was pretty good. Pretty doggone good. I think it had parallel flaking on both sides. You can see that in the flaking. Its flaking is really nice. I don't know if I'll manage the parallel flaking or not, but I want to be making one of these points real soon. And let's see, I did get some Kyokias from Mountain 72. I think there's 4 or 5 different ones, but you want to know how thin Kyokias really are? That dude is thin. That's a micro thin flake right there, and the serrations are, you guys can see that, pretty fantastic. Yep, you can make Kyokias just out of these little flakes. Just like that. That'd be a devastating hunting point if you hafted that and was shooting that in an arrow, out of a bow. It would just be devastating. Here's a Mountain 72 Kyokia. This is a tri-notch point, and again, very extremely delicate. Extremely thin. So I think they did get a little bigger than this, but for the most part they're pretty tiny points and just incredibly thin, incredibly fragile. I mean, you gotta, if you had a chert like a root beer or something made out of it, it would have a lot of tensile strength and it'd be pretty strong, but a lot of flints, especially heat treated ones, boy, you get that thin and it is fragile. But another cool Kyokia. Here's another Kyokia. Just beautiful examples. I mean, that took an incredibly talented napper to nap that with antler. Look how thin that is. I mean, that's like thumbnail thick. Pretty small. But that's what they were like. All the Kyokias I make are thicker and bigger than that. But I have something to look at now when I'm doing it, so, and that's the point. Here's a, well, this is another Kyokia. This one's super fragile-y. Look at that. Holy cow. So you want to know how wide that is? You guys are probably wondering that. You're like, hey, show us how wide that is. So I got some reference. So we're looking at about 3/8 of an inch at the widest point there, down to just barely over a quarter down here on this upper part. So very, very narrow. The base on this one is 3/4 of an inch. But crazy, huh? Just incredible. So you want to know what you do with them flakes? You make killer little Kyokia points out of them. That's what you do with your flakes. Let's see what the total length is on this one. We got 1 1/4. Oh no! I'm gonna shut it up in the tape measure. These will break. John Tuttle was showing me a point that he a Cumberland that he had had a cast of, and it was broken. I said, you're having a really bad day when you break your cast. And here's one of my favorites, Kyokia styles right here. And they were just tiny, incredibly thin. I mean, that's almost business card thickness. A little thicker than that, but not by a lot. It's just super, super tiny. But I bet just devastating when they go through an animal. Or whatever you're shooting. Well, what is this one here? Oh, we got an Aggie point, or as I call them, Aggie points, because I like to call things what they're not. So there's our Aggie point. Again, insanely thin, right? So the book is great. These books right here, which are on the website, fantastic. They give you an idea, give you size dimensions as far as width and length and stuff like that. Not the side profile, though. That's what you're missing, and that's what you get out of these casts. And when you actually have your hands on these things, and you can see just how tiny they really are and thin, it's just incredible. Just amazing. I think I might have got one more Aggie point, maybe. Oh, here's a nice one right here. Look at this. This is out of the Spyro Mound. It's a tribute point here in Oklahoma, which is just north of us, just a ways. Now that dude is thin. That is the thinnest one yet. That is definitely a flake. Very thin, flat flake that they worked. It has a little stack right here. It's got a little wobble in the tip. But it is incredible. These would just be so delicate. I mean, well, I'm going to give it a shot and see how it is and see how it goes. But you can see how, I mean, just incredibly thin that is. I mean, it is incredibly thin. Let's see, what else did we get? Double notch Cahokia gem point. I'll do some reading on. I already read on all these actually when I was ordering them, but that's an extremely well made point. Just beautiful. Which I'd imagine they'd only bury in those mounds probably the cream of the crop. And here's an Ishii point. didn't get any Goshens, I guess, or I thought I had ordered a couple of haul-in points. Maybe I didn't. Might have to be in my next order. Yeah. What would you guys have given to be able to hang out with Ishi and nap with him, just spend a week in a camp napping with him? Even if you couldn't communicate, you could communicate through napping. And this is obsidian that he is making these out of, and glass, I suppose, man-made glass after he got into civilization, I guess. But it's a strange story too, isn't it? I mean, we wiped out his entire tribe and his entire family, his last guy there, and then he went into town to, I guess I didn't order any Goshen points, or I'll make another order. Wow. The narrow notches are just incredible. If you guys can see, I got blue coat all over me. Our donkey got bit up by the jack during their courting session. So I don't know how well you can see the, yeah, you can see the narrow notches going in that. Very thin. It's actually domed on this side. It's got convexity, and this side's completely flat. Probably work from a flake, I guess. It's amazing the job they do on these castings. Just absolutely amazing. But that's it. I want to share that with you. I'm excited about these, and really looking forward to trying to nap some of them and using them as reference. I see some little points in my future, so we'll see. And I definitely want to work on making a hauling point. I really did thought I ordered some Clovises, but I guess I didn't. I mean, hauling points and Folsoms too. But this right here, this may be one of my favorite point styles right here. Jim Redfern made one for me. I really wasn't all that familiar with them, but Jim Redfern made me one out of Mookite piece that I gave him, and just pretty incredible. I love this base. I ordered this one because it had this base on it. This is the holy grail base as far as I'm concerned in these hauling points. Some of them are just nowhere near this fancy. They're just not. The notches are nearly non-existent, but some of them that are hauling points look more almost like a Scots Bluff, almost, just not nearly as fancy as this base. And I really like this, and this is how I'd like to make mine. So yep, we're gonna be doing that. All right, I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. I'm probably gonna do a bi-facing. I had a couple requests to do more bi-facing videos, and so if I got time, today's my granddaughter's birthday, but if I have time this evening, I'm gonna come out here. I don't have to be in the right mindset or anything to bi-face, really. I just I mean, normally I kind of need to be in the right frame of mind for flint napping, and the better frame of mind I'm in, the better the flint napping. That's just how it is for me. And some days I'm so scatterbrained or got so much on my mind that I can't nap at all, but I can pretty much always biface. And I think I'm going to do some bifacing this evening. I'll probably just biface for an hour. Percussion slabs and spalls and nodules. We're just everything, whatever's close to me I can grab, that's what we're going to biface, and we're going to do another bifacing video. So that'll probably be next, unless I just feel like making a point, I guess. I've got a piece here of Buffalo River. It's got a crystally inclusion in here, but look at the turtle back on that thing. So I thought about doing this as a rock challenge. It may turn into small Kyokia kind of point, you're going to lose this part. This part of that cortex comes in there. But I don't know. I be honest with you, I don't know that I can get that turtleback off there, because it's not a very big piece. It is 2 5/8 long, 1 5/8 or so wide, but you know, it's 1 inch tall, right? It's 1 inch tall. So yeah, and 1 5/8 that way. So it's just barely like 1.5 to 1 is the ratio right now with that big old turtleback on it. Maybe not even that good. But anyways, we might try and maybe let's take an indirect striker, hold this nice and firm, set the indirect striker right there, and maybe dry part of that off. That's a possibility, because there is a lip there. But whatever point it'd be small, but it'd be like a challenge point, and I set this aside just for doing that. And anyways, I appreciate y'all watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Y'all keep napping.